Hey, so we're here with Hugo Gonzalez,
Hello.
our segment specialist for industrial printing. So Hugo, you got a few machines here at the show. Got a lot of exciting stuff going on. Tell me a little bit about what is this machine and what are we doing with it?
So here behind us we have the 7151. It's a high production machine, but you can also do a lot of specialty products. So here at the show we're showing a lot of braille applications, textured applications, and they've been extremely popular.
Oh, nice. So I know there's been a lot of questions around can Mimaki print braille? Can we print ADA? Can we do that?
Absolutely. We have a couple methods to do braille. We do have a slower method if you want to do clear effects with it. But if you're going to be doing like a flat color coding or a flat white coding, you can do a faster method, blending CMYK plus white layering. So you can produce a bed in about an hour.
So this is all printed on tinted colored acrylic?
No, I actually printed all of these on the backside as well. So we have, you can create any single color with the single material.
Nice. I mean, that's really smooth. That's like,
thank you. Yeah,
really nice.
Everybody that comes up asks if it's a tinted acrylic and where they can find it, but you can make your own tinted acrylic.
So what else can we do with this machine?
So we're doing everything, a lot of direct to object, so you can stick your cell phone, cell phone cover. I wouldn't stick the cell phone in there just because I'm paranoid. We're doing a lot of like photography and acrylics. We can put pens, anything that goes on a jig, or you can put on a jig, like USB drives, the pen, anything on this wall, the tins that we've been doing for the CVD market is pretty popular with this machine. And we have a lot of flexibility because you can go up to 6-inch depth on the, the materials.
So this is the 7151 plus 2.
This is.
What's different about this from some of the previous versions? There's some additional inks capabilities here, or?
Yeah, so one of the biggest differences is that this has a full 8-channel system.
Okay.
The previous one only had 6 channels. So now you don't have to choose between clear, primer, and white. So now you can have all 3 of them in addition to CMYK, and this one is up to 30% faster than the previous model.
Awesome.
So you can get a lot more production, but you can also put it in an industrial setting. We have this great cover to prevent any dust inclusion.
So is this standard or is that an option?
This is an option for the machine.
Very cool. Now, as far as it has a vacuum bed, if you need additional vacuum, are there any options there?
We do have an additional vacuum option for this one. We have things like deodorizer option, a UV, an ionizer option for this. Depending on your production, your environment settings, what's best for your shop.
Now, let's say that I'm in a higher production setting and I want to be able to automate this. What about connecting it to robotics and that sort of thing?
Absolutely. This is IoT ready. We can provide the SDK or the SDK kit, or we have an optional MDL command module to provide the communication for other equipment.
So to be able to automate the loading, unloading, all of that.
Absolutely.
And then one of the things I know that I love on the UJF series is you've got ways to set up for jigs, so these threaded registration points. We do a lot of jig printing on this?
Yeah, we can provide the layout of the bed. We have registration points where you could either do a threaded registration point, or you could do the pin drop style where you can just quickly pop off and off any kind of jigs. We work with a couple of popular companies that have our jig layouts already. So all you have to do is ask them, what you need, what shape you need, and how many layout you would like to do.
Great. Thanks so much.
All right, thank you.
Once again, it's Carissa, and I wanted to come to you today and let you know we have a new kebab coming out in the spring. So the high-speed version works so much different than what our regular kebab works. Look at it, it is actually going to spin the object or the cylindrical object, and then the head is going to print to it instead of the head going over the material. This high speed, not only can it do our regular cylindrical objects like this, your Yeti cup, it is also going to be able to do that tapered applications as well. It is so cool in here because we're not going to set it down on the kebab like we did before. It is actually, you have these customized pucks that you can use, and the cup actually fits onto here while it spins to show the accuracy. We've lowered the table all the way down, and what it was asking me to do, as you saw, it was lit up. What it's asking you to do is we want to make sure that there's not a lot of UV light coming through here, and you'll notice that I've actually filled that cup full of black so that we don't hurt our heads as it's printing. So we've checked everything, everything's good to go. So I'm gonna push in and I'm gonna hit remote, and we are going to send a print and print this object. So we're gonna come over here to Rasterly, and as you see, I'm going to print white and color. Our artboard has set up here so that we can do a full wrap on this object, and we're going to send it over. So what the kebab in the machine is going to do is it actually measures out what the center point of our object is. So we're going to take the lid off of it, and what it does is it holds that center point, whether the cylindrical object is tapered or not. We're going to make sure that it is level so that when that head comes over to print, you'll see that the cylindrical object is going to keep spinning while the head stays in the place and moves ever so slightly across the bed so that you can get this. This actual print that we're doing now, it's going to take us about 5 minutes to complete, where before on our kebab that took 3 times as long to do, and I don't think it did as nice of a wrap as this kebab did. It's going to come out in April is what they said, and we hope that you can join us and make sure you understand this. If you already have one of our 6042 NK2Es, you can put this kebab on that machine, as well as the 7151, as well as the 3042.
Hi, my name is Hugo Gonzalez, and today I'm going to tell you a little bit about the JFX 600. It is chock full of features to keep quality up, keep production up, and do it all on any kind of material you want to do, increasing your product and application ability. So one of the first features I want to point out are passive features that are part of the head, part of the algorithm, part of the computerization of the printer. It has features like maps that feathers the edge of each pass, so you virtually eliminate any banding, keeping high quality. Then you also have waveform control that gives you extremely spherical dots and with extreme placement, so you maintain a really high quality even at lower resolutions. Here we're printing a medium resolution with a gloss overlay, and this is controlled by a passive system called MCC Mimaki Clear Control. And this gives us the ability to modify the lamps at different levels to be able to give you either a matte or glossy layering depending on what you want to do. So all of these add up to high quality without any sacrificing of speed. On the production side, we can go up to 1 bed per minute with dual CMYK ink, the ink configuration, but we also have the ability to put white ink, clear, and primer, so that you can expand the types of materials that you can print on. We have, in front we're featuring a 3-liter bulk ink system to keep production up. And then here we have the MPC, and this is the Mimaki print controller. This eliminates the need to reprocess images or go through our rationing software on the operator side. Here, it's an icon-based, has easy icons to navigate basic commands like maintenance, calibrations, positioning, things like that. And then it's graphics-based, so when you want to send a print. So it gives the operator easy access, quick touch to keep those jobs turning out. This machine is also IoT ready. This means that we can put it in line in a manufacturing environment with robotics that would, load and unload the bed for a high production setting. We will readily give SDK commands to any user who wants to use IoT command language, or we also have an optional MDL command unit to provide that communication port between the robotics and the printer. In addition to all of the features that we designed for production, we also have a lot of features that increase the versatility of the printer. We have things like whiting, clearing, and primer that expand the gamut of the media we can print. Because you can see this wall behind me, we can print on dark materials, wood, white material, dark material, metallic, textured materials, and even on acrylics. As I mentioned earlier, the MCC Mimaki Clear Control allows us to change the texture of the clearing. This one was done by layering layers of matte ink. The matte ink allows us to create textures in a very fine detail to give the prints a little bit more dimensionality.
Thank you for joining us. Today, we're going to go ahead and jump into some of the industrial printing side of things that we saw at Printing United, and we're going to do that with Hugo Gonzalez, who is our Senior Segment Specialist for Mimaki USA. How's it going, Hugo?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
Excellent. You recovered from the show?
Getting there, slowly but surely.
Very good. Very good. So last week was a very busy week for all of us at Mimaki USA, and this is our first segment with the Mimaki Global Innovation Days. And we just ran some video that talked, or you got to see some of what we had at the show. So Hugo, you want to just run down real quick what machines, what industrial printing machines did we have at the Printing United booth?
So at Printing United, we featured 3 of our machines from our high production, highly versatile JFX 600, which is a 4x8 size, a very large format. Then we had the 7151, which is our medium format, higher volume UJF. And then we had the UJF 6042, which featured, we had a little technology preview with the KEBAB HS.
A lot of excitement around that Kabab HS.
Yeah,
So
that was really neat.
Yeah, I think what we'll do is let's go ahead and jump to, I know you've got some slides prepared. Let's just kind of run through a few of the slides and we'll talk a little bit about what's going on. And then at the end, I'll jump into a little demo about the PIC software. That
Okay,
sounds
great.
good. Yeah, go ahead and share your screen.
Sounds good. So I just want to highlight a few of the neat things that you can do with the UJFs and the JFX series. First and foremost is Jig Print. I think this is one of the most versatile tools that you can use for higher production volumes. When you use a jig, you can accurately place products, without having to worry too much about the placements. I actually have one right here, which I'm not on camera, am I? I have one here in the room that I'll show you here in a bit. So with a jig, you can quickly exchange large amounts of smaller products on and off the table just to keep the production flowing. And the jig is really versatile, so you can actually put up to 100 unique images. This means that you can be working on multiple customers at one time if they're printing on the same product.
So quick question for you, Hugo. I mean, I'm looking at the picture on the screen there, and when we say jig, I think that can mean a lot of different things, right? So we've seen people that do jigs that they've cut themselves. We've seen people that do jigs by laying down magnets or tape. We've seen people who do jigs just by doing an outline on a piece of paper. But the jigs that we're showing here, talk a little bit about what is it about the bed that allows us to get that accuracy, those threaded registration points, and what that really means.
Mhm. So it might be a little difficult to see in the table, but around the edge of the table of all of our flatbed printers, there's a threaded registration pin system where you can thread in a little M5 screw to hold down either or a pre-cut piece, or you can hold down a straight edge. And this allows you to really quickly find that origin point without having to eyeball anything. It allows you to repeat the prints very accurately.
So we're literally screwing the jig or a guide for the jig directly to the table, so you get repeatability, you get accuracy, and in a production setting, that's really, really key.
Absolutely. And on the UJFs, you also have the option of doing like a post. So it's not threaded, but there are holes that you can, put down a jig without having to thread them. And this is great for higher production shops where you're filling a jig, you just put it down into the posts, and then when that one's done printing, you can replace the whole jig so that you can load and unload media quickly while the printer's already working on the next jig.
Another thing that's really cool is that along with that pin system, whichever way you decide to go, like you said, the post or you're actually screwing it down, you can also have openings in the bottom of the jig and take advantage of the vacuum system in the bed as well. So you can have a jig that's holding the pieces in place, but then with that opening, you can have the vacuum come through and hold that piece down flat to ensure that you've got a good flat surface, that you're printing to. Before we get too far in the jigs, as we're talking about printing surface and holding things down, what about things that aren't completely flat?
The UJF series has great functions called the long distance profiles. They're LD1, 2, and 3. And these profiles allow you to print on curved surfaces up to 4.5 millimeters. So if you take a golf ball, for example, with a normal flat print, we keep the head about 1.5 millimeters away from the print surface. You're printing clearly about a 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch logo on the golf ball, which is about a third of the half surface of the golf ball. But with these LD profiles, you can print, with high quality and accuracy up to the 4.5 millimeters, which allows you to print up to 2/3 of that half of the golf ball. So it really extends it by a lot, just by slowing down the head a little bit more.
And that's just a setting inside of raster, right? If you have a UJF machine, does it do it on the JFX as well?
No, these are limited to the UJF
Okay.
series. We do have different capabilities in each of the UJFs. The 7151 has two long distance ones, or extra long distance ones of 4.5 millimeter profiles, and the UJF 6042 and the 3042 have the 2.5 millimeter profiles.
Excellent. So, all right. So I'll let you get back to the jig piece of things.
Okay. In addition to Jig Print, this is one of the basic functions that comes with Rasterlink. There's no additional add-on to the software. This is a standard feature. It also includes Jig Link and Jig Barcode, and this works in conjunction with the Jig Print functionality by being able to scan a serial number on a jig, and it'll verify that you're printing the correct product and you're using the correct jig for it. This is great for shops that have a lot of different applications or a lot of different products, and they want to quickly be able to switch between jigs. So just imagine you have a customer that wants notebooks, they want pens, they want small signage, they want, markers, things like that. So you can make a jig with preset sizing for each of these items, and then you can, when you want to select a product, you can scan the jig, and it'll tell you what product you're printing for at that moment.
So I think you and I have both used different rips, even with the UJF machines, and I think you'd agree with me. I think that Jig Print is out of the Rasterlink is one of the best features, right? I think it's so powerful to be able to use just kind of lay out, this many across, this many up. This is where I want my objects. I want them in the bottom right, or I want them in the center, whatever it might be. It's super powerful, and I think that it's for people that have UJF machines, if you're considering a UJF machine, that's one feature that you definitely want to take a look at. And you've got a jig there.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I have the jig I showed in the sample, and this one is great. This one aligns the book covers perfectly flat. As you can see, it just angles the bottom of the book so that the cover is perfectly flat every single time. And I'm showing these in the way that I printed them, so I was able to print all 5 designs at one time.
So as we're talking about the different things that you could print, whether you're talking about notebooks, nail files, things like that, obviously selecting the correct ink is going to be a big issue or a big consideration, let's say. So I think you've got a slide on that as well.
Absolutely. All of the inks are extremely versatile. If you choose an ink, you're not limited to a single substrate or a single type of substrate or a specific flexibility. All of our inks are pretty versatile in that they can print on a wide variety, even if they don't match the type of ink. So our most popular ink, it's been around for over 13 years now, is the LH100. This is the hard ink. It has a really high scratch resistance. It has a really high solvent resistance. This means that you can sanitize it, you can clean it, and you're not going to have any wear on it. This is great for indoor applications and for applications that are going to be touched. Something like the notebooks here, or another application that's becoming really popular is Braille. So things that are going to be touched a lot. We have the LUS 120 and LUS 150. These are flexible inks, and they're great for they're more versatile for outdoor applications and any flexible materials. The 150 is what I would recommend for like thermoformed or slight thermoformed materials. like membrane switches or things like that. The LUS 120 has a little bit extended, or has more of an extended outdoor life. So this is great on materials that are highly flexible. It will withstand thermoforming to a certain point. It has a 70% stretchability, and these are great, but you can still use them on rigid substrates. So you can still use them on acrylic. You can still use them on the paper boards. Stuff that's not going to flex. They're still great options. All of these come in configurations with primer, clear, light magenta, light cyan for the UJFs. And for the JFX, especially for the 600, we just came out with a brand new ink configuration that includes clear, clear, and white, white for those who use a lot of gloss inclusions or want the different surface textures. Or if they want to create tactile prints, the clear will build those tactile prints a lot faster.
Yeah, so we should point out that this the configuration that you're showing right here, this is just an example. There's some other ink configurations that are available depending on the machine, and you want to definitely check with your dealer, with your Mimaki rep for what's available. So you mentioned thermoforming, and I see one ink that's not listed here, which is LUS 350.
Yes, we do have the thermoforming ink that's stretchable up to 350% of the original print size without any loss of saturation. That's really important, when you're creating a shaped sign for a big name restaurant. You don't want the print to look faded out even before you install the sign. That is available for a 7151 plus 2 and the JFX 200.
Excellent. And then one other thing that I don't see here, not to nitpick your slide, but I'm gonna, ink supply, 1 liter bottle. We also have some smaller bottles available for certain machines, correct?
Yes, the standard is 1 ink liter supply. We do have the Mimaki bulk ink system that's standard on all of the machines. So they accept the 1 liter bottle and the 250 milliliter bottle for lower volume productions.
Perfect. So we've got our jig set up, we've got our ink set up. Let's talk a little bit about one of the big technology previews that we had at the show this year, which was the Kabab HS.
No, I would expect it in the next couple of quarters to have more information out on this. And the really neat thing about this is that it can print on slanted surfaces, like the cups you see in the image, up to a 70-degree angle from top to bottom. This is also faster.
7.5 degree.
7.5 degree. This is also able to print on flat cylindrical surfaces, so it's not limited to the slanted or to the tapered cups. This is printing a cup in about 5 minutes, which is a speed increase, from our previous Kabab, the Kabab L. And the Kabab L is still available for our UJF series machines.
So the Kabab HS, it's faster. It allows you to do up to a 7.5 degrees on a tapered cylinder. This is available for the 7151, and it's also available for the 6042. And we're waiting to see whether it would be available for the 3042 as well. Right? Yeah. Okay. So just to clarify for everybody that's watching, because we've had a lot of questions about this as we showed it, because this is something that honestly, we showed this at Printing United and it hasn't been seen anywhere else since or before. This is a technology preview. We don't have a release date yet, so you cannot order this yet. They're still working out some things on it, but it was really great to see. It was a very, very cool demonstration and very well received for sure.
Yeah, it was definitely popular at the show this year.
So with the Kabab HS, we're talking, as we're talking about the UJFs and the JFX machines, we're talking about different ways that you can get more production, things like that. Usually when we're talking about high production, the next part of the conversation almost invariably goes to automation. So let's talk a little bit about Internet of Things There we go. So tell us a little bit about what we got going on with Internet of Things and automation.
So both our JFXs, or the JFX 200EX and the JFX 600 2513 are IoT ready, as are the UJF 7151 plus 2 and the UJF 6042 MK2E. All of these are IoT ready as is. We do offer the SDK kits if someone is going to be using it and integrating it into a production line like this. And we also do have the optional MDL command modules available for those that need a communication module between the machines. So in this one, it is able to have an automated or a robotic arm that is loading the machine. The machine sends a signal that it's begun the print and then that it's finished the print. It also has output messages of status and ink levels and things like that. And then once it's done printing, it sends the command for the next robot or the same robotic arm to remove, unload, and then reload the machine.
Exactly. Perfect. So yeah, SDK, you can go to Mimaki.com and you can sign up. Once you sign up, you're able to download the SDK. And basically, the way that the IoT integration works at Mimaki USA is that this is going to be something that either you're going to have a customer who's experienced in robotics, or you're going to have a customer who's working with a system integrator, right? And the MDL commands is basically a let's call it a white paper or a description list, instructions on how the machine will accept communications and also how it will send communications. So basically, to be able to say, hey, here's the status of the machine. I'm loaded. I'm ready to print. I'm printing. I'm done printing. I'm ready to unload. Those are the kind of things that the printer can send back and forth. And then the MDL gateway is that command module that's for the UJF machines that may or may not be needed depending on the level of integration that's going on. But I think this is a really, really great step for these machines to be able to run in a lights out environment, or to be able to automate a lot of those monotonous tasks, or just to be able to allow fewer people to operate more machines. I think it's a really, really great thing. And that SDK kit or the MDL gateway command module, those are all available today. Great. So as we're talking about automation and looking at things remotely and those kinds of things, then we also get to the PICT system, which was another big presentation on or at Printing United. This was the first time again that this was being seen. So PICT is the printer information communication technology, and this is a little different than what we've seen in the past. So at previous shows, we have seen the Mimaki remote access device or remote access application, right? And that's an application that runs on your phone and allows you to be on the same network as the printer, whether it's a UJF or a JFX, whatever it might be. You can see the control panel, you can adjust, you can see the ink levels, you can control the printer as far as put it in remote, adjust things on the control panel from your phone, but you had to be on the same Wi-Fi network as the printers themselves. What PICT does is PICT allows you to view metrics from these printers across the internet. So it's a cloud-based technology. So basically, it allows you to go in and see a printer wherever it might be, as long as it has the PICT client. You can see the model, you can see the ink levels, you can see the amount of production, things like that, all fully remote. So you can be sitting at home, or you can be in a hotel somewhere and log in and see what's going on with your production shop. So this allows you to do maintenance planning. It allows you to do ink inventory management, production load balancing, and this is completely free for Mimaki customers. So this is really cool. This works on the JB and CJB 330s. This works on the TS 330. It works on the new UCJB 330, which we just announced or just showed for the first time, I should say, at Printing United, as well as the larger machines like the JFX 600 and the Tiger 600. So if it's okay with you, Hugo, I'm going to actually share my screen, and we'll see if we can just show a couple things. Hopefully we can do this smoothly. Let's see how it goes. I may have disappeared from your view, but that's all right. Can you see that okay?
Yep.
Excellent. So this is the running in a web browser. I just have it running in full screen mode just so it looks a little bit nicer. And right now I'm logged in and I can see some of the machines that are sitting in the showroom and in Japan, as well as some that are in Europe right now. So if I want to go in and I want to see what's happening, let's say with the Tiger 600 that's in Europe right now, I can click on that. And I apologize, our internet connection is a little bit slow. But it will show me the ink set. It'll show me the ink levels. It'll show me expiration dates if that is set up. And I will go to operating results. And this is what I think is so really powerful, is that I can look at past operating results on this for up to 90 days. So for up to 3 months past, I can look and see how much was printed, how much time was the machine ready to print, how many hours was it actually printing, how much time was it doing maintenance, anything like that. I can see the metrics for ink usage, I can see number of prints, and I can see square footage that's been run, right? I can look at the print history as far as the start and end date and what happened with those particular jobs. Now this, you can set this up to be in square feet or in square meters, and you can set up your your ink cost as well. In this case, it's still set to Japanese yen, but if I set this up for my production house in the United States, I'd set that to US dollars, obviously. I can go in and I can get maintenance alerts on when things need to be cleaned, what's going on with the wiper, things like that. And then I can also go in and see the manual for this particular printer. So again, this is really, really nice. It's a great feature, and it's completely free for Mimaki customers. So this is something should be available this month or the very beginning of next month. Really, really exciting. So that's picked. I think it's a really exciting new thing from Mimaki, and I think the fact that it's free, that's going to be a big plus, and I think people start using that right away. So very, very cool. You know, the more metrics that you can get on your printing processes is always beneficial, right? I think it's super important to know where you are and to be able to prove it. And this allows you to collect those metrics, track them, and really get a lot of great information. So now that we're back on the cameras, let's talk a little bit, and this will be, I think, our last piece of this. Let's talk a little bit about Braille and ADA signage. So you were printing Braille and ADA on the UJF 7151+2 at the show. Do you have some examples of some of the stuff that you printed?
Yeah, absolutely. I want to showcase two of the materials producers that we work with a lot, because when you have the ink raised that far off the media itself, it does become a little bit, adhesion becomes a little bit more important. So one of the important things is to start with really good adhesion, and a couple of them that stand out are Vicom, and this is just a regular foamed PVC. It comes in black and white. I believe there are other colors, but we predominantly work with black and white. This has great adhesion. You're not going to scratch the Braille off, of course, with normal use. If I gouge a key with it, anything's going to come off. From what I'm told, I've never worked on the engraving side of Braille production, but the beaded is a little bit more fragile than this. You know, if I dig with my nail, it's more likely to pop out than the printed. And another company is Acrolite. They're coming up with a new product. I'm excited to be able to work with this because this is not out for general sale yet. I believe they expect to start selling this in about 6 months. 6 months. And I think this material is a game changer. It has UV receptive coating on both sides, as opposed to their regular stuff. I mean, I've used their regular stuff, I'll admit, for ADA signage because I've added our own printed primer on the UJF series machines, and it works. So what they've done is they've taken their digital print acrylic, they've added the coating on both sides and made it matte. You can see that there's a matte reflection, which is really important for ADA. And so now, they're able to produce this kind of sign. I've been getting a little resistance because you can see that there's a design on the back. People are used to seeing ADA to look like this. 2 colors, very simple. But I think this is where ADA can go because the main feature of it is that it's high contrast and that it's matte. We're still within those guidelines, but now you're getting a full resolution image. And because it's translucent, doesn't mean it has to stay like that. I mean, or it is translucent, but it doesn't have to stay clear. I'm with the printer, I was able to print the backside just a flat color. And if you want that classic look, you can still achieve it by printing the color. The advantage to this, why would you buy material then print it a flat color? The advantage is that you can use the same material for any color you want, any design you want. And I printed the sample to show people that this starts out as a clear acrylic. This is not a pre-tinted or pre-colored acrylic. But with the UJFs, it has the really high quality to print a nice flat color without any banding. If you can see there, it's pretty flat. You're able to print any design and use stock one material. You don't have to stock the material in 15 different colors to offer for 15 different signs. You can stock one material, print it any color you want. And if you can see behind this, you can also make it an opaque sign with by putting white behind it. So it's not limited to translucent effects. You can also do all of the opaque effects by simply adding white to behind the layer. But this is really exciting stuff because it just offers versatility across ADA signage while remaining within the guidelines. And as I said, this is double-sided sign or double-sided material. The back, before it's printed, is actually glossy. So you actually have the option of working with a matte print or a matte surface or a glossy surface, which is a really nice advantage. So you can create like effects like this. This is actually a backlit sign printed on the matte side. So then now you have the gloss front surface, but you also have the advantage of being backlit. But I don't have a flashlight with me, so I can't show you the backlit option. But we have instructions on how to do ADA step by step in white papers, and then we have our Braille application that comes with Rasterlink on YouTube, and we will be doing a more in-depth step-by-step video on how to create your layer, the digital data to create the ADA signage.
So one thing I want to ask is I know there's a lot of questions out there about competitors and patents and that sort of thing. Just to keep it really simple, from the Mimaki standpoint, first question: is it okay to print ADA and Braille signage on a Mimaki printer?
Absolutely. We have reviewed the patent, and there is nothing about our process that violates that patent. Very clear and simple. We have our process, and it's something that we created, and the way that our machine works, the way it cures, is very unique to Mimaki. We have developed a lot of technologies that we call our core technologies that are specific to our machines, and one of them that we use for ADA signage in particular is called Mimaki Clear Control. And we have modal lamps that vary the cure intensity digitally. So we turn off specific LEDs at specific times to be able to create, these relief layered images. So there's nothing that violates the patent. We are in the clear. I know that there's been hearsay, there's been rumors that say otherwise, but there's absolutely no substance to those. We are able to do this clear for free and clear.
So if somebody has a Mimaki UJF printer, and they've got raster link, they can print ADA, right? Nothing else required. No other software
Absolutely.
to buy, no other kits to buy, nothing like that.
Nothing at all. This is it's just if you simplify it, it's just simply duplicating prints over and over.
Great. All right. Well, Hugo, I want to thank you so much. I know it was a long week last week and leading up to the show, and great job getting everything ready to go. And I understand that you're going to be on vacation for the rest of this week. So great job, and thank you so much. And enjoy your vacation, and thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us.
All right. Thank you. It's great talking with you.
All right.